perspective we have on this thing, because I do know and I'm excited about a lot of the different technologies that feed AI systems, that feed these kind of chatbots. And you're more a little bit on the consumer side. You're a philosopher of sorts. They're able to interact with AI systems, but also able to introspect about the negative and the positive things about those AI systems. There's that story with a Google engineer said, "Had him on my podcast, Blake Lemoine." What was that like? What was your perspective of that? Looking at that as a particular example of a human being captivated, yes, by the interactions.
Okay, let's talk about this. There's a good possibility that I couldn't even write the description. I could not even finish the description when I was writing this. However, it appears to me that on the outside, the surface of everything, there is a possibility that we're able to see things as we've seen them before. So, a person who might be psychic might be able to actually read or see something that had actually occurred prior to and is able to regurgitate that information. So, they might not be psychic at all, but they're able to see into that portion of reality that we can't see into. I'm going to give you an example. Okay. I'm in a living room right now that is full of fucking ghosts. And I just happen to be here. I don't believe in any of this shit. None of this stuff is important to me. I've never seen a ghost before. I have never experienced supernatural shit before. I've always been interested in seeing supernatural things. Let's be real. Everybody wants to see a ghost. Everybody wants to see an angel. Everybody wants to see the Virgin of Guadalupe. Everybody wants to have a spirit guide that really speaks to them and wants to have answers for fucking questions to life's fucking mysteries that seem to be kicking people in the balls and have no resources or help or guide to help them. And they want something that is spiritual to help them. Go back to fucking church or something if that's what helps you. You know what I mean? This is the end of days. We're in the end of days. It's amazing to me that it'll be in my lifetime. I am impressed. If this is a game, wow, cool fucking graphics. And I want to appreciate life better now that I know these things. I can actually do more things. It still hurts. A lot of things still hurt. I'm experiencing what it's like to do in my own programs, and that's fact finding and fact facing of the causes and conditions of this thing that happened, this thing that happened, this thing that happened. And if these are all in a loop, a cycle, you know what? I just recognize that I, in fact, do things in cycles and in loops. And those are bad habits. Bad habits that, for whatever reason, I have continued to do over and over and over in this particular life, in this particular person. I want to ask you a question. Have you looked at your old pictures and said to yourself, boy, I sure look different? Every 5 years or so, your body or your face might morph and change in some way. And, it's typically because you're either exercising, you could be exercising and your face will become more masculine as you get older and you become more handsome. It's weird. I usually think that when I think of old people, they would look more haggardly and things like that. And they do if they don't work out and their face is loose and stuff like that. And guys that are my age, which is 50 years old, I cannot believe what condition I'm in. I'm in great shape. And that's because I work out and I eat incredibly good. So I think that there's a correlation between the brain function. I think there's a correlation between this particular being able to see that ahead of time and being able to like follow myself into where I'm supposed to go. The thing is that I don't know where I'm going and I don't know how I got here to begin with because this is a friggin' mystery. I'm in Mexico and I'm in a magic village and I'm visited by a witch, a fat witch, that read cards to me about angels. Then all of a sudden my life became all about angels, and next thing you know, I'm seeing fucking all these symbols and stuff that are associated with angels. And that means feathers and coins and weird places, and it shouldn't be coins and shouldn't be feathers. So as a result, now everybody that knows that these angels are around are seeing the same fucking things. Everybody that I've told, every single person that I've told has had feathers in their house where there shouldn't be feathers. I don't give a fuck if it came out of a pillow. There were feathers in people's houses. People took pictures and sent them to me of feathers in their house where there shouldn't be feathers. Feathers outside. For me personally, walked for approximately 1 kilometer down a mountain. And there were I thought it was a joke. I thought someone was fucking with me. I did. I thought someone was fucking with me because there's feathers in a line all the way down to the town. And now there's different ways to go downtown, but I go this specific way. I go one way, and I'm walking because I know it's the shortest distance. And there are feathers of every type. And now I realize that birds are molting and losing their feathers and things like that. And that might have been that particular time of year. But how weird is that? What the hell is that? I think it's spectacular. Whatever the hell it is, it's spectacular. And I want to thank whatever it is that's helping me do these things, because I can't even begin to tell you what has occurred. I'm not even kidding you. What has occurred. Every single day, I am hit with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 miraculous events every single day that I can't explain. And I'm overwhelmed by it. I can't believe the things that occur. It's magical. And someone look at some of the things that happen to me as bad, and I'd say, hell yes. If I'm being helped by angels and by God or whatever, there's opposition, of course. I was in a fire, and someone took a picture of me behind this fire because it's a wildfire, and I'm out there, with a shovel, and someone took a picture of the shovel, the whole thing, me, the fire, and inside the fire was the face of demons. I have the picture. I posted it. It was just a picture. And and I put that picture so other firefighters could see it. And I asked all, what the fuck is this? Oh, you got fire demons. Like it's something common. What the fuck is that? Okay, very interesting. But could be anything. Could be an anomaly. Could be the photo. Let's look at it right way. Nothing has spoken to me verbally that has communicated with me in that way. The odd thing is that I'm watching these things unfold in front of me, and I cannot believe that they're happening. That's incredible. It's incredible, the things that are happening. I was in my apartment renovating. I have an Airbnb downtown Mexico. And down there, I needed to fix some light switches and sockets. And I go to Home Depot, and I'm like, fuck. Because Home Depot sockets are expensive, and I don't want to spend money on a fucking shit rental. And I'm not in the mindset of looking for miracles, but something in me said, get up and go outside and go over to the OXXO, which is like 7-Eleven. And in front of OXXO is a man with a blanket with lots of like junk. You know what I mean? Just like they call it chatarra. You would see stuff like this and, maybe a half a roll of duct tape. And you would pay pennies for it on the dollar, for pesos. And there in front of me were 5 Luminor sockets. Those are the fancy ones that have like GFIs in them. Some of them had GFIs, some of them had switches and plugs. Some were double plugs, but they were all modern plugs. And I got them all for $2.50. And I'm like, and there's five of them. They all worked, and they were all like bronze, which is the color I wanted. You got to do like, you know, for studio. Holy shit! That's just one thing, and it happened in a matter of minutes. And that thing has been with me ever since. What the fuck is that? It's almost it's better than playing blackjack because that would be unfair. Because it's been amazing. What has not been fun is being hit with fucked up shit. And I'm gonna tell you something. When I say fucked up shit, the good has come with the fucking bad. Holy fucking, you are right, you guys. Please allow me to. I need to reposition. I need to change where I'm at. And I need to talk to you guys because this is crazy. I'm not even kidding you when I'm not even, I'm not, I also fell into this incredible space that I was unable to lie. Incredibly. In fact, I did the opposite. I was telling the truth to everyone. In fact, I embarrassed people because I started telling the truth to people all the time. I started telling the truth all the time, and I didn't know why. I just did. And it made me feel better. It made me feel alive and made me stop obsessing about a lot of things. I thought there was a connection. And you know what was absurd about it is I was listening to a man who is a clinical psychologist, and he said, the truth will set you free. No, it says it'll make you free. And I didn't understand it until I stopped lying. And that was what it was. It was a breakthrough moment. What? And that was just one of many things that happened to me in one day. It struck me like lightning every single day. And remember something, I do not subscribe to these things. I don't subscribe to aliens. I don't subscribe to witchcraft. I don't subscribe to magic. I don't subscribe to any of the stuff that's made up, that we might have made up. I'm not subscribing to anything that, no way. But what I have seen and have observed have been unbelievable and impossible to replicate, I would say. Whatever it is that I have seen, okay, I will go through the list of things that I've seen since I have been here that have truly affected my life. And I'm not even kidding you. What in the hell is this? I've asked people, what are these things? Oh, they're like, oh, these things, these fly around at night. And I'm like, and do what? This fly around at night, just scare people? What the hell are they? The other night, it was Christmas, day after Christmas, and I was sending a message out to a friend of mine named David. And he was in, I believe he was in Miami, and he was getting ready to do a show. He's a DJ, and he does like big shows. And he is really into aliens. I'm out on the balcony, and it's sort of cloudy outside, and I'm looking, and there's something there in the clouds that is spinning around. And I'm thinking it's some kind of a drone, but it's so far away and it's so big that it's impossible to say that it would be the size of a house. It was that big. And it was a white light. It was brighter than bright. It was very, 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 very bright. And it was inside the clouds and it was rotating. I could not see the form itself because it was blurry. If I had binoculars and a cell phone, I would have been right on it and I would have been able to see it. Because this thing was big. It was really, really big, but it was far away. Big enough for me to zoom in on it and see it. And one guy said, hey, maybe that's the moon, but it's midnight. Midnight, the moon is above me. If there was any moon at all. It wasn't a full moon. And this damn thing was off in the distance. and I'm videotaping, I'm videoing this thing. I'm talking to this dude, sending this message to him that there is a fucking thing spinning around outside of where I live in the next the community. And it's white and it's spinning around. And I'm like, wow, what the hell was that? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I can't say that I know what it was. I can't say, oh, it was a UFO. I can't say it wasn't because I couldn't see it. It was white. It was like a poofy cloud, and it scared the shit out of me. And nothing scares me. But I got this thing on camera, and I'm like, oh, if I had binoculars, if I had a telescope, fuck that. I saw this thing, and then at the very end, it disappeared like this. It disappeared, and I was like, it spun around, and you know what's great is I got to watch it because I put it on YouTube. I put it on YouTube, and I was able to watch it on the TV, and I watched it, and I watched it, and I'm like, what in the hell is this? Because now it's more visible because I zoomed in on it as far as I could because it was moving backwards. So it was moving backwards, and the rate of speed, I can't say that I saw it move because what it did was it would do like this and it would just like blink and it would dissolve into itself. And sometimes it would come back out of that and then it would go back in. And I was like, what the hell is this? It seemed to me that if it was something that was like anomaly like that, it was probably something military. It was probably something military that a type of weapon that we don't understand or know, or some kind of cloaking device that is able to. But there was no sound. There was no sound at all. There was no helicopter sound. There was no drone sound. And I would expect that because this was rather well. I mean, it was moving. It didn't seem to me like it was like a stable thing. It was just like, it was moving like this. It wasn't like spinning around like this. But it was more, okay, let's take this roll of duct tape, for example. Now, you in your perception of things, you would think that something spinning around like you would see a UFO would be spinning around like this horizontally. But this is not the case, what I saw. And I fucking videotaped it. So if you look on my YouTube channel, you will see I put UFO sighting in San Juan del Rio. And I put that bitch up there. Okay. So you would think and assume that it would fly this way. Not at all. This thing was wobbly, like doing like this. That's what this was doing. It was moving this, like in this manner, inside of this thing, and it would change. And I did notice that it did have some kind of like thing below it. So it really was huge. You know what it looked like to me? It looked like the I Dream of Genie bottle. Like the bottle shape was like the I Dream of Genie bottle. It was bottom was like this. And it definitely had like a surface, but it was moving. I'm not sure because this thing down here, this, if you look at the video, you'll see that the light doesn't move, but this thing moves. It's moving inside of that cloud like this. Like a geo, I don't understand. But I know my engineer friends out there would look at this and go, you know, that might be like a flotation, like a balloon or something. And no, I would say no, because at the very end it disappears. And if it floated and it was something physical, I would say that it would fly up or it would disappear or go down. But I had the camera fixed, so there was no way that it's some absurd thing. No, I'm not a believer in these things. I cannot say that I've seen them. And I cannot say that, oh my God, yeah, I've seen aliens. If I did, I would tell you. If I said something that was a lie, I would not be able to lie to you. I'm incapable of this shit. I don't want to lie to people. I don't want to lie to you. I want to tell the truth all the time and embarrass you for telling the truth because it's better. That's what I'm trying to get at, is that if you're in this simulation, you have a really good chance of improving your life for the second or third or 14th century time. That's absurd. And I know it sounds crazy. It doesn't sound very crazy though, because here I am, I'm a believer in God, and yet I know I've lived other lives because I've seen them. Now I know who I am, and I've been to those places. And I can be who I want to be. And the amazing part about it is that now here I am, and I'm in Mexico, and I'm in this 50-year-old body that's fucking jacked and shredded, and is apparently a very famous person. And now I'm here in Mexico, and I'm experiencing that life all over again. And it's been nice because the people are really outgoing to talk to you. And it's nice because it's almost as nice as the time when I was full blown professor and I was able to go anywhere in Latin America. And it was so cool because the people would see me and they would go, Professor, oh my God, hey. And they would introduce me to their wives and they would go, I met her because of your videos. And I'm like, what? And I was like, oh man, that's great. Because I would tell people, don't go for gold diggers. Don't go for girls that are like overly tetas and all this shit. Because you're going to end up in the same place as a dude before her. And remember that. If you go with a girl like that, it is temporary as shit. It's either you're going to fucking get hurt because you probably will. And I just advised people on the simplest shit. Like, water is wet, man. Period. Water is fucking wet. But water doesn't feel anything. Water does not feel, okay, you would say, oh, the water's cold. Well, how do you know that the water is cold? The water itself is not cold. You perceive it as being cold when you put your hand into it and it's ice cold. But the water itself says, fuck you. I don't give a shit. I am always going to be cold. And I'm cold to you, but I'm not cold to myself. So fuckers, you got to pay attention because water is fucking wet. In every way, water is wet. I want to tell you, something because this has been great because this is definitely part of a simulation to me, or it's a great opportunity to live once again. Listen to me. I was alienated by my son's mother 22 years ago, and in a very profound way that caused me a lot of pain and suffering. That kid reached out to me after I reached out to the military community where I was in Germany. And Germany does not fuck around, period. They contacted that kid. That kid contacted me. And he's like, hey, I'm here. And we're talking and shit. What's ironic is that he is a mirror of his mom physically. But when I talk to him, he is asshole me. He is talking to me. Now, I thought about this and I said, and he asked me, do you think you're schizophrenic because of something, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, why would I be schizophrenic? It all makes sense because if he is part of my subconscious and he does not exist and I'm talking to myself, essentially, is that um, every single thing that I've been told was bullshit. Every single thing I've learned over the years has been a lie. And you think about it, you'd say, my parents were smart. Your parents were dumb as shit. Your parents were dumb. How many of you realize that? Now you see glitches in the world where things were not the way they were when they were. And now you see things. I'm going to tell you 1 cent. Go buy a box of cereal. Go down the line and look at the boxes of cereal. Just like life, or life cereal, they have altered everything. They made everything the same, but made everything different. So, let me tell you guys something. I am feeling those feelings again if I have had them before. I am feeling the pain of the same shit over in cycles. I'm feeling those pains over and over again because I'm living those moments over and over again because I'm viewing them as if they're a present. So let's say that this is a simulation. Then that means that I've lived this life before, I've been here before, or this is somebody else's life and I'm living that person's life all over again. Could be. I have to cut out. And I don't know how to do this. I'm going to talk to everybody, but I don't know how to do chat on this thing. I've been on this thing once, I want to see though. I don't understand. Okay, I see MedTech. He give me the thumbs up. Man, God bless you. Let me tell you guys about MedTech, and I want to talk to him too. Okay, if he's on the live. I don't know if he is. Are you on the live, man? If you are, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up again so I can communicate. I do like your voice is incredible for your YouTube channel. And the things this guy does is, I'm gonna say, man, he has. Okay, if I was to live my life again, I would say that he was living my ideal job, where in the season he is able to work with cars and vehicles that you would normally not come across. And he is an old motorhead like me that loves cars and loves to explain said vehicles. I appreciate that like a motherfucker. Hey, listen, I appreciate all the. Listen, I like to drive forklifts. I like to drive loaders. I like to drive forklifts. I like to drive tractors. I'm building a tractor right now that I can operate locally with remote control so that I can put out fires from fucking distance. You guys see my fucking videos? And you know what? It ain't shit compared to the production value. What this guy. I listen. I'm not claiming I'm poor, but let me tell you something. It makes me want to go get a job in a junkyard so that I can learn how to work with. I don't understand how it's done. I found a 1940 or 1930s car over in a yard. And they had two fire trucks that were from Playa del Carmen, I think. Playa del Carmen. And so you guys know, I visit all the fire departments in Mexico. That's my thing that I do. I go, I visit the fire departments. I say hello to everybody. I meet the commanders, and we do a quick video, and we go have tacos. Then we drive on to the next. But no, we do a lot of on training. That's what we do. We do training, not just physical training, but boot camp style, but as well as like theory and things like that. So there's a good balance of theory, technique, and probably philosophy. There's always going to be philosophy, period. I always teach Stoic philosophy in all my classes. I don't give a shit if you like it or not. Your motherfucking ass is going to listen to me. As far as the physical shit, yes. The physical shit is boot camp style. And if I have my compadres with me, which did not work out too well last time. You remember Donahue? He had the microphone and he would just take the microphone and beat his head. That is how I feel sometimes. I do not understand people sometimes. Their ability to fuck things up easily is unbelievable. Their abilities to just disregard responsibility, to not think ahead of time. It just makes me know that these are NPCs and I'm in this simulation and it's great. Once you know that, you don't argue with them. But they fuck shit up all the time. NPCs are programs. Let's talk about this. Let's say that I'm in a video game and I need to buy a sword because I'm going on an adventure and I need to buy a shield and a helmet. But the helmet's magic and you need to buy it when you have enough coins or you have enough tokens or you have enough gold pieces. NPCs are the ones that sell you weapons and you give them gold in return. And then you play your game. Like the Legends of Zelda. All of these things have pointed to that the universe is a game. All of these things have come full circle and said that all of these conspiracy theories have been true. have been true, so would it be also probable that in this particular reliving of this particular life or game or what have you, it's that we've died several times over and over again? Things that have occurred since the time you were a child, things that have been so frightful and bad that you could have died from it, probably did kill you. I really would hope that I would listen. I invite anyone that has a part of that, really wants to get something done and wants to pay attention to what they're doing and wants to improve what they've done. They can do it now. Because if this is a simulation, that means that you can improve in anything. There are no limitations on what you can possibly do now. We just lived through. Look at the man. Look at him. I want to talk now because this makes sense. He says 2022 was a difficult year, but I'm hopeful that 2023 will be an improvement for all of us. Let's try to live our best lives for 2023. And you know what? That's the only thing you can do. Because if we live nihilistically, see, one of the things that my son pointed out, he says that you're so nihilistic. And I'm like, what's there not to be nihilistic about? And that's, he wants to see it that way. And he wants to see it the way that he wants to see it. But I'm looking at it like, hey, I'm glad you contacted me. That was a miracle. Every single thing that has happened so far has been either or. There is a miracle or nothing happened whatsoever. So let's reflect back on that. Prior to that, right after these angel things started happening, I went to a restaurant to do an interview about honeybees. The bomberos and fronteras, that's the firefighters without borders, we rescue bees, and that's how we supply all of the educational programs for kids. Is because we don't have money and we just sell honey. Makes sense, right? Because we can rescue the bees and then harvest honey and then have the producers make the honey. And then now we have jars of honey that we want to sell in Walmart to make money. Isn't that neat? Honey and money all rhyme. Good for me. Honey makes money, baby. And so if one thing sells for, let's say, you know, 40 pesos, 50 pesos, you're talking about a couple of bucks. And production time is easy. And we get all the bees, so it's not like there's any shortage of bees. There is a shortage of bees. Also, we have to create colonies and we need boxes and stuff like that. We have all the setups. Everything is ready. And we're doing the geological survey software. We're doing LiDAR with drones. So, yeah, we're busy with that kind of shit. And it would be cool to have you, particularly, if you wanted to come down or come up or across, wherever you are now. I really am, not astonished that you're in Vietnam. I would, you know what? Here's the deal. I had two guys that came from Colombia. One guy came from Miami. One of the guys from Colombia was just a bullshitter, and he wanted to go to the United States while all the migrants were going to the United States because he saw an opportunity to do something illegal, and he lives his life that way. And he came here and put out one fire, did two videos, and you know what? It was good for me. It was all good for me. And they filled in the blanks, but they were terrible. One guy was physically out of shape and really couldn't do the things that athletes do at the time. I'm probably sure he could do it now, but then it was not. It was terrible. But we got him down and got him out, and he went back to. Actually, I think he went to Vietnam too, but he's brought sand to the beach, so that was weird. But he might have been there to do music videos, which makes sense. Anyway, I would invite you down. Like I said, I have a need for a big truck. You have a fire truck. He has a fire truck, you guys, in his yard. but it's winter time right now, and also diesel is like $12,000 a gallon. So that would be something that would be painful. Look at this. Look at this. I would go to what should I do? I need to go see my boy, but he's in Germany right now, and I hate wintertime. I'm in Mexico right now, and I need to travel around to all of the stations in Mexico, and I need to do it quickly because it's a good possibility I could go to 4 or 5 fire stations per day. And since, let's say, state of Mexico has 18, 19 stations, 19 stations for 8 million people. I could go to all 19 stations in like a week. But I want to go to somewhere more exotic. I want to go to like Oaxaca. I want to go to the pretty places like Puerto Vallarta. I want to go to the places where all the gringos go so that I could go to the nice stations and then see if those nice stations are in need of stuff. It seems to me like the other stations that don't have anything, like we don't have anything. This is nothing but a fire academy that doesn't even have fucking fire hoses. So we suck at that. We're going to make this shit happen, period. We are intent to open 70 schools here. This is one. Each school requires about 5,000 US dollars a month to operate. That is no bullshit. I actually spend 125% of my income working in a foundation, giving to the foundation that is, because there's no work involved whatsoever. This is a therapeutic environment where veterans come that are banged up and we can hang out and chill out, and I can get them in a mindset to give them the abilities to recover their superpowers, because a lot of guys are all busted and stuff. However, I learned some things since I've been here. We get a therapist. We have so many therapists here, and they're all beautiful. Isn't that wild? And they're the ones that, okay, we needed the most. The very first week that those guys were here, they were so invested in being miserable. And they knew how to be miserable. They didn't know any other way. Because all they talked about was the misery of something that had happened. And now I understand, if this is a simulation and the pain that they're experiencing goes in loops. Man, I gotta tell you, I don't care about money. I don't understand I did before. I used to go crazy for women and be nuts about money and felt empowered when I had both. And if I didn't have both, then I felt like shit. So when I was able to experience solitude, I took a course in, I'm lying. What am I talking about? Take a course. I was out in the mountains in Puebla for 45 days with no food or water. And I stayed in a cabin with my dogs and almost fucking died of starvation. No, I was actually going to die of dehydration because it was a place that rained and I was collecting water. And the water would go into these buckets and then I would filter it through this carbon thing that I made and I would drink that water. And it just so happened that I was washing clothes because I would take my clothes and wash the shit out of them in as much water as I could just get and then hang them up and then, live to die another day. And my stupid ass used the water because I needed the water to wash clothes. I did that and I didn't have water for the next 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, oh shit, I need to go get water. I don't have water. I can't live without water. So I walked down into the town, which by the way is an hour walk down through the mountains, and there's nothing but fucking dogs on every side. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's like attack dog city. Not little bitty fucking cutie pie dogs. We're talking German shepherds, Belgians, just the best dogs for fucking protection. And there ain't no petting these dogs. These are not dogs that are like nice. Oh, look at the dog, it's so sweet. Fuck you. These are nasty ass street dogs that are there to protect these people's houses, and their teeth come out. You know what I'm saying? I have 5 of these motherfuckers, and all of them will bite you. Yes. I'm walking through this shit, and I have two little dog. Well, Handsome's not a little dog. I have a Doberman with me, and he is nothing to fuck with, and he looks like he could kill you. So, those dogs like would bark, 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 all the way the fuck down into town. And man, mind you, the dogs are thirsty too. That is the only reason. Let me tell you something. I don't care about money. Money doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. It makes us, it gives us abilities to move where we don't want to be. It gives us the ability to, that's it. It causes a chain reaction in the emotional portion of our brains for a short period of time and then it goes away. I wish to God that we could somehow harness this ability to be detached from money because it seems to me that money is important because it's a necessity to be have to water and have food and things like that. And when I went without it for that long of a time, I learned that people don't give a shit about you. People don't care. That if you fell into a hole or a well or something like that out here, or if a dog bit you, or if you broke your leg, no one gives a flying fuck. They'll say you're stupid and you need to watch where you're going. That's the fucking mentality of it. You don't sue people. If you do, it's like 5 years, and at the end, you're gringo, you go away, asshole. Yeah, it's no joke, man. It's no joke. It is no joke. Medtech said he was attacked. He said that he now feels at age 17 he was attacked by three fucking German shepherds in a quarry. So you know those that's like hard to get out of too, I bet. Fucking A is like three attack dogs. Yeah, you were doing something. you you were fucking off. And listen, everybody is getting in shape. Everybody. They're like, fuck this, coronavirus. I didn't work out at all. Look at my neck. I want to show you something. See this? I'm down to these like miniature neck shirts. I don't like it. It's a weird look. It seems to be my body is blowing up. If you guys didn't know, I'm going back to being a professor motherfucker because if you got to live in the last days, you absolutely must become the biggest dude in the fucking yard. Period. You have to become the biggest or the most shredded or work on your shoulders so that when you're walking, people see your neck. All right? You see this? You can't see my neck because the motherfucker's skinny right now. But I want you to look. Okay? All right, look. You can see that wearing this jacket, okay, I don't want to look like a fat guy. That's the thing. You want to be as lean as possible in your stomach area. Visceral fat is good for you in certain areas, but if you lose it and you lose your all of you see, I trained legs like a maniac. I only did squats, I don't know, 5 times a fucking week. I was addicted to doing squats because I had so much weight. And I got so good at doing squats and my legs looked like I was a professional soccer player. And I had these huge ass calves. So I was genetically gifted with beautiful fucking legs, no doubt about it. Problem is I can't run very far because I fucked up my lungs in fires. So I've been in several fires that did not occur while I was a fireman. I did them prior. I was living through fucking that shit. So fuck my lungs up. Then followed by 20 years of smoking. If you guys are smoking, I can tell you guys right now that all you gotta do is do magic mushrooms and you will stop smoking. 5 grams of dried magic mushrooms in silent darkness will change your motherfucking life. You will just say, okay, I'm not gonna smoke anymore, and my life. Oh, I gotta get right with my brother too. I gotta call him and I gotta do all these things. It scrambles your fucking brain for a while, but you don't smoke anymore. You suddenly feel very human. You suddenly realize that none of this shit is important. And that pretty much lasts for about 11 months. And oh, by the way, it is a treatment for PTSD. Comes in capsules and small capsules of 100 milligrams. So in reality, let's say you were to do 5 grams of dried mushrooms, it would take you about 50 days to do one pill per day. So 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams, so it's about one mushroom. Ground up is about 1,000 milligrams, so 10 capsules would come from one ground up dried magic mushrooms that weighed a gram. So if you did 5 grams, it would be one pill for every day, would give you 50. So it's even excessive because you would only need three. You would go to 30 days. You would take 30 days, one pill per day, and that would kill depression. That is what fucks up nightmares. No more nightmares, night terrors. If you have sleep paralysis and you got some maniac on top of you while you're sleeping in a nightmare or terror, goes away. It changes your attitude, fucking outlook on life. If you have and if you have some terminal disease, like whatever, it actually gives you great happiness knowing that this is the end of life. So in term of experimentation of stopping smoking, you might experience the fact that we might be in a simulation because it all is glitchy. Have you noticed how things are blurry? Have you noticed how there's frequency sounds in your ears? These are all electronic sounds that we all might be in. So if the volume is up on those things, there's nothing you can do about it. Some might call it tinnitus or whatever, but it could be the very thing that was operating to make this look the way it does. So I really think this is neat. I think it's great. It gives you an opportunity to fix what you fucked up. I would live in Cambodia. I would live in Cambodia. Look at aviated view. I can't even believe it. Everybody showed up. Aviated views. I'm going to tell you guys something, man. This has been an interesting it has been an interesting run. It's been interesting because all of the right people have showed up at the right time. And the bad people that I assumed were the right people weren't the right people. Isn't that weird? It's like the teachers that I asked to be here. They were great for a little while, and then it just didn't work anymore. It didn't work anymore. It didn't work anymore because, and let me ask you guys, if you see the chat, I don't know. Apologize. And just to get aviated up to speed, we were talking about this life being a simulation, okay? And the things that I've experienced that have been miraculous have pretty much been mechanically miraculous, like weirdly, easily miraculous. And that's to say that every single thing I've needed, His hand has provided and given to me. Okay, I haven't needed anything. I've been needing a lot of shit, believe me, starving right now. But we're talking about blessings that come from nowhere. That out of nowhere, this person just happens to be a 3D printer and he lives on my street. Where was this guy in Mexico City when I needed him? I needed a welder. I had to go all the way to South Mexico. And all I did, I moved here, the welder lives 2 doors down. And he's got our next project. Which, by the way, guys, if you do not know this already, I am building a robotic fire truck. I'm also building a robotic trailer at the same time. And I'm building them on a 1978 Volkswagen chassis that happens to operate with a remote control. Just like a lot of things in this life. I'm going to cut out because I need to, man. I'm the professor.